connecting them to a transformational experience of changing lives in Uganda. I love what I do. And one of the reasons I love what I do, and you're going to see tonight, Cameron, come here. Cameron Northern, one of the youngest philanthropists I've known for a very long time. When she was, how old were you, 5 years old? She decided she was going to pray to God. And her requests to God were 2 every night. Jackson Kagwiri and Nyaka school, and the troops in Iraq and Afghanistan. And she prayed. And God answered her prayers. Right? And then we started raising money. What did you do to raise money?
I collected coins from friends and family, and the total was $828.24.
Here, here.
Then her life is transformed. She's working on behalf of children, and her young brother also said, I'm going to join you. This looks like fun. And God is answering prayers. So you joined in, right? What did you do?
Collected coins.
Alright. So Brent decided they were going to do coins. But it didn't stop there. As they prayed, their parents also had their prayers. And you could please join us if you don't mind. The parents' lives also got transformed. And now here is a child who's praying for other children she has never seen, she might never meet. And then something happened in the family, and I will let Ali Northern tell you what that has been and what a miracle it has been for the family and for us.
Our family was introduced to Nyaka through a church we were attending, Faith Church in Martinsville, Indiana, and about 5 years ago. And our family's fallen in love with Nyaka and contributed on an annual basis. And this year, through my work, I'm the executive director of the Eugene and Marilyn Glick Family Foundation. They've offered me the opportunity to make a discretionary contribution to an organization of my choice. And of course, my heart knew exactly where I was going to give it. And so I called Jackson on Wednesday and told him that our foundation has a check for $5,000.
Five-year-old Cameron. Brent, how old are you? 7 years, Brent. 7. Would you finish a box of juice or would you take it to grandma? No, you will take it to grandma. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, now we can ask questions. But what has happened is beyond what I thought when I held my brother's hand. As he passed away, he said, take care of my children. I have taken care of my nieces and nephews. I could have stopped on those 3 nephews and nieces. But God was calling to take care of not only the children he had biologically, but the whole village. It's a blessing, it's an honor. Please ask questions and I will go deeper into the questions you ask. But don't make me cry anymore. But God has been wonderful. The best is yet to come. This is just the beginning. We haven't done nothing yet. God is just You have a question?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's the current status of the high school? Or what is it called high school in Uganda?
So what we have realized as these children went through school, they have graduated, bright students, 100% of our students have passed their exams, and now they have to go into secondary school. We have agreed to build our own secondary school. It's going to be secondary vocational school. So children can learn skills, they can apply right away, and also get a certificate out of the secondary school. And in fact, we, yesterday, the Hilton right there, arranged for us to meet with the public health department at Indiana University, and I also got a chance to meet with admissions. We are now working on getting our students to take SATs and come right here. Watch out, Nyaka students are going to be Hoosiers, and this town is going to be all red, crimson, and white. Students have graduated will continue to go to public high schools and take SATs and start going all over the world, creating little mini Jacksons that are going to change many more other villages. Yes, ma'am. In that video, you saw one of the things we realized earlier on, apart from feeding their berries and food we grow in the farm, we wanted to feed their minds too. And feed their minds with books written by local people in Uganda first. And we realized when we took all the books we collected in the United States, children didn't have the comprehension of books that Winston Churchill wrote. They didn't care what Bob Woodruff and Princess Diaries were talking about. But when we told them about climbing trees and this man who grew up in their village falling out of the tree, they wanted to see the tree and they wanted to know who this man is. And that allowed them to start reading deeper, and now they can read bigger books. We have a library, you saw it there. It has solar power and it has 20 computers. So our children are now beginning to learn computers, and we have a technology-oriented person in Texas who is now going to bring in more technology to put on the computers so they can even learn robots and robotics. When we talk about this advanced technology in a village like ours, people ask me, why do you need to introduce computers in a village like that? And I say, when these children are coming to Indiana University, Professor so-and-so is not going to expect them to write a different paper from the other student. You grow up that poor, you've never seen a computer. My son fixes my iPhone, I have one. Not like somebody. I have my iPhone and it helps me stay connected with all these wonderful people. But that child who has never seen technology is expected to compete the same way with a student who has grown around technology. So no, we are not going to leave them aside. We are going to teach them the skills they need to succeed, even technology. In Nyaka village, on solar power, God-given solar power. We got Eric, he's older than me. Respect for the elders. Yes, sir.
When do you see Nyaka in 5 years' time?
Where do I see Nyaka in 5 years' time? In 5 years' time, I see one of our graduates who would have joined Indiana University or Michigan State University, telling his own story and not Jackson standing in front of him. I see more students graduating from Nyaka, and I see our high school, secondary school, high school, vocational school completed. I see more solar power in each classroom with the computer, teachers using the computer to compile their reports and their work, introducing that technology to all students in every classroom. I see maybe another primary school built, given resources, and following all these coming to high school, and having our students graduate from the high school going to universities all over the place. We will have a database of students in different places at that time, and we will have doubled. This is 2012. What I have said, I set my own goal that by 2020, I want to see 100,000 children touched in Uganda. That will include children who are staying with grandmothers, who are not coming to our schools, but who are still getting a benefit as a grandmother buys a basket, money trickling in their houses. And I see us helping more than 50,000 grandmothers and continuing, maintaining what we've started, not to let anything go down. And I see all of you still connected, and each of you going back and bringing 5 or 10 more people, so we need a bigger room in 5 years. Yes,
could you give us an update on Irene, who was the #1 student in the first graduating class and was just such a joy and wonderfully talented young person to be around? And I just thought, the world was sort of oyster and she could accomplish anything. Is she still doing well?
yes, one of the things you will find in my village is girls don't get the opportunities boys get to go to school, because you have so many obstacles facing girls. One of the biggest one, when their periods begin, girls don't go to school because they don't have sanitary products. We made it a point through our health care program to provide sanitary products to all girls, including Irene, which meant that they attended school all year round, and which meant that our students, boys and girls, 100% have graduated and continued on. One of those is Irene. Irene wants to be a lawyer. Irene is still doing very well. We've paired Irene with another lawyer in New York who writes back and forth, because we realized one of the things our children also don't get are mentors. You want a girl to be a lawyer, she's never met a lawyer in her life. So we've said, you want to be a dentist, we have a dentist in her dad. Why don't we get a child who wants to be a dentist, talk to the dentist here and know, number 1, I can do it if that woman also did it. Number 2, how do I need to concentrate on? Number 3, keep the eyes on the ball. So Irene is going to be one of the lawyers in the 5 years Derek is asking me about. And you've also met here in Indiana, Justin, the girl who was burnt. We've also met Alan, the boy who was crippling. Alan is in the graduating class of 2012. Born crippled, but now walking. You had a question? Yes, now you can ask it.
Okay. What made you decide to go back and start at school?
What made me go back to go and start the school, and what made me write the book? Is what 2 things you wanted to know. 1, I wanted to write a book so children can have the local person they know. Our children thought that the school was built by this man who God spit from heaven and just landed in their village. They thought I was like a saint. I showed up and they just want to sing and stay away from me. And I told them, I was born here. I ran the same streets you ran. I disobeyed Dad and got many spankings. Oh, no. And I said, go ask him. He still lives across. And if you're not careful, he may spank you too. Because he's still the same man. And so the motivation to write was for them to have stories, local stories, by a local person, with local examples they can touch and feel, and then read the book. I don't want them to think authors come from America and Europe and Kampala only. Even a person in their village can write and they can read those stories. And then Penguin, the biggest publisher in the world, picked up my book by God's grace and published it. What made me go back was that promise I gave my brother as he was dying of HIV/AIDS, wanting me to take care of his biological children, and what I had witnessed him doing, taking care of children in my village, giving pencils to children so they can stay in school. Tradition I continued, and now wanted to expand it to more children, to be an uncle. It was a selfish reason. I wanted to be an uncle to as many children. Now I can't even manage to take care of them. Yeah. Teresa, you had a question?
Well, I just wondered when we sponsor children, okay, how that involves with that child's life as they go through school.
So one of the things we started last year was to pair individuals with individual children as sponsors. For 250, a child in primary school, or for 500, a child in secondary school. That program does not only mean financial support. That program also creates a relationship, a friendship. This child here gets to know the person who's working with them, and you start corresponding on an individual basis. You start getting many comrades connecting with other students there, or a grandmother here connecting with another grandmother. In fact, we are going to do grandmothers for grandmothers. Think you are enjoying grandmother and sending back children, think of the one who's raising 14 in the house every day. So that sponsorship program, you write back and forth. We are able to bring letters and pictures twice a year, and you can continue with your student year after year. Just like you take care of your own child, you don't have to give up on your child until they graduate, until they become adults, and the relationship will continue forever. If you cannot, we always can find ways to continue supporting the child.
Now, these children are available right now, right? These children are available right now?
Oh yeah, we have about
Pull the card off.
pull the card, read the story, and you will see how amazing these children are. Yeah. We have 600 students, with the ones who are paired with individuals about 186. So pull a card, and these are not Nyakas, these are live students, children. Okay, in conclusion, 2 more questions. David? Dave doesn't have a question. You don't have a question, I have a lot to say. That is 8 p.m. And we promised you, yes?
How many children does each grandmother usually take care of?
An average of 6 children per grandmother. And we went and counted house by house. And the environment you saw in that film, when they leave school, many of them that's what they go back to. They still have to go and light fire and make a fire to make their food. But they still live in houses that leak when rain comes. So rain is a blessing in southern Indiana to grow corn. It's good in the village to grow their food. But if you are living in a leaking house and you are sitting in church and the pastor is preaching the sermon and starts raining, and you know you're going to walk in a wet bed, you won't listen even to the sermon. So these grandmothers are facing the most challenging circumstances after they raise their own children and thinking their own children will come back and help them build the house. Now they have to take care of 6 children. 6 is average. We have a grandmother, Margarita, who takes care of 14 children in a small 12 by 14 small house. We've gone in and built houses for these grandmothers. 12 by 14, small house for $750. The grandmother gets a roof over their head. And when we talk of faith and God, you have not seen faith until you see these women. They pray they kneel down and pray. If you are ever hurting or you need a prayer, just email us and we get 7,000 grandmothers to pray for you, and their prayers will be answered. Because they are answered every day. And they are able to wake up and look in the eyes of their grandchildren and say it's going to be okay. And the next day, it's okay. Answer the prayer. Yes, sir.
I was wondering, how is all this with HIV/AIDS? How is the programs? Is there something to try and control that disease? Is it still bad?
Uganda is one of those darling cases in the world that have curbed HIV/AIDS and really controlled it. Uganda is an international example. Mainly because our president took a stand and said, this is something that is affecting the fiber of the society, and I'm going to address it, to work on it. So when you read the highest reports of HIV infection and the infestation right now in Swaziland, we are talking about it in Derek earlier, mainly because these governments have denied the causes of HIV/AIDS and don't want to talk about it. Uganda started talking about it earlier on. Our infection rates were in the 30s in the 1990s. Right now, infection rates in Uganda by the end of 2011 was 5.2%. We have many orphans because when the numbers were high, so many people died and left many orphans. That infection rate in Uganda is among the lowest in the world.
So the next generation?
Our generation is going to be without HIV/AIDS. And ladies and gentlemen, it's 8 p.m. We want to respect your time. If you want to talk some more one-on-one, I'm not leaving quickly. Staff, okay? Thank you. Go back to college and tell the story, the power you have in Facebook and tweeting, and don't sit on it and only tweet about IU games. Tweet about these causes. I am on Twitter. I follow you guys. We will change the world. We wouldn't do it without each one of you. And we don't want to take back baskets. Please buy baskets and beads and books, and Sarah is there. You saw how those baskets are made, one needle at a time, and by these grandmothers. Once again, Indiana Friends of Nyaka, Karen, you are organizing committee.